All right, we're getting in breaking news just coming in. Well, the latest coming in from the All India Medical College, which has AIIMS has refused to accept Akshay Singh's Viscera sample. According to top MP government sources, AIIMS has refused to accept the sample of Akshay Singh. The AIIMS administration has in fact told Madhya Pradesh government that they do not have facilities or the mandate to conduct forensic examination of Viscera samples. The Viscera samples are now being taken by a representative of the MP government to the Central Forensic Laboratory. The Madhya Pradesh Chief Minister spoke to Health Minister J.P. Nadda, Health Secretary and also the Home Minister, asking them to examine Akshay's Viscera sample at AIIMS. But according to sources, AIIMS does not do Viscera analysis as a matter of policy. 4 days have already passed since Akshay's death. The Viscera samples have not yet been examined. The delay can prove very costly and determine what led to Akshay's death. I want to cut across to Rahul Kanwal, our managing editor, who's getting us up to speed with this latest development. Rahul, it's fairly bizarre. Days after it was said that the Viscera samples would go to AIIMS, AIIMS says that they cannot carry out the investigation.
So we've just spoken to top-level sources in the Madhya Pradesh administration, and they've very regretfully told us that the AIIMS, the administration has refused to accept the Viscera samples. They're saying this is not our mandate, this is not what we do, and therefore we cannot accept the samples. They're asking the Madhya Pradesh government to have the samples sent to the Central Forensic Science Laboratory here in the capital. Now, the problem is that this has led to a massive delay. Now, it's already been 4 days since Akshay's unfortunate death, and each hour is crucial in order to try and determine what really led to his death. And these are not being, the Viscera samples are not being protected properly at this time, because you've got one person holding it as he takes it around between AIIMS and now the Central Forensic Laboratory. It's a medical nightmare. But this is very unfortunate. AIIMS is saying that that's not what they do. What we're told by very senior sources in the Madhya Pradesh administration is that the Chief Minister himself spoke to the Health Minister, Nadda, spoke to the Home Minister, spoke also to the Home Secretary, spoke also to the Health Secretary, asking them to see if they could take these Viscera samples and investigate it. But AIIMS said that's not what we do, we're not equipped for it, that's not even our mandate. So now they're being taken to the CFSL laboratory.
But Rahul, why so much red tapeism? When it was decided that the samples would be taken to AIIMS, why couldn't AIIMS come up with a clarification then itself? Why wait for these many days?
That's right. See, to some extent, I must put this in context without just resorting to a blame game. Akshay's family, in the letter that the sister wrote to the Chief Minister, has said that they would want the Viscera samples to be sent to AIIMS. And the Chief Minister agreed. A representative was sent with the Viscera samples. AIIMS then, now that is where the Babugiri and the Sarkari Dam comes in. AIIMS could have possibly reacted, but then they don't move at the speed at which TV channels do. They don't move at the speed at which news does. If they'd been proactive, then I guess they could have pointed out to someone just at that time that this is not what we do, you need to send it to the CFSL. That would have saved a crucial 24 hours. Unfortunately, they didn't do that. So when the representative from the Madhya Pradesh government reached AIIMS, those people, first after discussing internally, refused to accept the samples. And that's how time was lost. So it's criminal delay just because every hour, I spoke to some doctors about how this delay impacts what that Viscera sample throws up. They're saying every hour is crucial, and this they believe is very, very unfortunate.
You know, Rahul, that's what I want to know. Where are the samples right now?
So the top-level source in the Madhya Pradesh government that I spoke to said that the samples are currently en route to the CFSL. So they haven't yet been given to the CFSL. Yes, things should be moving a lot faster than they are. But right now they're on their way to the CFSL where they will be given. What should have really been done, Preeti, in the first instance is that this probably shouldn't have gone to AIIMS. But this just, okay, let's assume the Chief Minister doesn't know about where the Viscera samples need to go. But surely somebody in the Madhya Pradesh government, somebody in their medical administrative side should have known that what the proper procedure is and shouldn't have rushed these samples to AIIMS. So that didn't happen, which is very, very unfortunate. I won't call it a criminal negligence, I won't call it deliberate, but this is deeply unfortunate. This is deeply unfortunate because time is being wasted. The Madhya Pradesh Chief Minister tells us he's very perturbed by this as well. He didn't want this to happen. And to be fair to him, he did move the application almost immediately after receiving it from Akshay's sister. So it's not as if the delay happened deliberately, but it's led to a very unfortunate end result, Preeti.
Rahul, stay on with me. Let's get in reactions on that story, and we'll be back with our managing editor, Rahul Kanwal.
So what has the letter,
so what does the letter say? Does it say it cited unnatural death?
Yes, they have cited unnatural death.
And sir, has they requested by what time this Viscera sample should be?
No, there is no detail is being mentioned in that letter. It is just a fax letter.
All right, we're back with our managing editor, Rahul Kanwal, who's speaking to the top sources, especially where Madhya Pradesh government is concerned. But right now, what we can state is that AIIMS has refused to accept the Viscera samples of TV Today correspondent Akshay Singh. Rahul still with me on the phone line. Rahul, we don't want to get into hyperbole, we don't want to get into conjecture, but the fact is this is a criminal waste of time. You were speaking to some doctors. What does it mean for Viscera samples, which are clearly not well preserved? They're lying in boxes over the last 24 hours. What does it mean? Would we actually reach anything conclusive now?
Preeti, what we should do is try and get our assignment desk to get some top doctors on the line. They'll be able to explain this more from a medical perspective. The doctor that I did speak to said that every hour is crucial. He had an opportunity to look at the post-mortem report, and he told me that an enlarged heart possibly means that there was a cardiac arrest. But what led to that cardiac arrest is not explained in the post-mortem at all, which is why this Viscera sample forensic analysis is that much more crucial, because this is the only way to determine what led to the death. Remember, the covering note written by the Director General of Police in Madhya Pradesh to the director at AIIMS says that this was an unnatural death. That's now written on record. They're admitting it. Now, the question is, what led to that unnatural death? The post-mortem is completely silent on it. All it says is that there's no internal or external injury, which means he wasn't hit or attacked from the outside. Something happened within his system, which led to an enlarged heart. Now, the question is, what was that? That would get determined through a proper, thorough, scientific examination of the Viscera samples, which, because of this lag, because of this delay, seems more and more unlikely, because you're losing time. Elements are working with the Viscera sample. It's getting diluted, it's not as preserved as it should be, and that really is a big problem. But let's try and get some doctors who can give us more of a medical explanation apart from just what I've been able to explain in layman terms.
Appreciate you joining us, Rahul. We're going to do exactly that. Our producers are trying to connect to some doctors there who can maybe get us a larger understanding on what this medically means where the Viscera samples are concerned. Appreciate you joining us, Rahul Kanwal there, getting us the very latest from Madhya Pradesh and his sources within the government there. Meanwhile, I believe we also have Arthur Khan with us. Arthur, it's rather bizarre. We don't want to get into hyperbole, no conjecture here, but how is it possible that it takes 24 hours for AIIMS to react and come out and say that they don't do Viscera tests?
Well, that's right. That is startling, because it's an extraordinary case in which a special request was made by by Akshay's family, and it was also backed by India Today Group, and the Chief Minister of Madhya Pradesh had agreed. So this is an extraordinary case where the AIIMS being the premier institute, and it has a fully fledged department which looks into toxicology and other aspects. Should have taken the initiative, but it's rather surprising they have turned down the request, and they say they cannot accept this case.
When they say they don't have the mandate, what does that mean?
Well, what they're trying to indicate is that such samples are sent to either FSLs of which are run by state governments or the CFSLs. They have facilities for toxicology department. They have a department which we have seen in the past in Sunanda Pushkar.
All right, just stay with me. Arthur, just stay with me. Coming right back to you. Let's quickly apprise our viewers on the latest developments there. On your television screen, Arvind Kejriwal, Chief Minister of the National Capital, paying a visit right now to our colleague Akshay Singh's residence. Well, these are the latest visuals that you're getting right now. But all of this actually happens at a time where AIIMS has refused to take samples of Akshay Singh, saying they don't have the mandate. So, Arthur, coming back to you. So, you're saying AIIMS has a toxicology lab. They have conducted Viscera studies earlier, like you pointed out, in the case of Sunanda Pushkar. Why is it that they have refused this particular case, where a request was sent by the central government, by the Madhya Pradesh Chief Minister to the central government, to the Health Minister? Why is it that they suddenly decide they don't have the mandate to carry out this test, and why the 24-hour delay?
Well, they'll have to give a valid reason for this, but what it appears is that they are going to take the stand that normally these samples are sent to forensic science labs in various states and also the CFSL, and this being an extraordinary case, they will have to, make a special consideration. But they will have to come up with a valid reason, which is not yet
After
there.
Tell our viewers, there's a very direct question. Does AIIMS have the facility to carry out a toxicology test, to carry out a bona fide sample test of the viscera? Do they have the equipment? Do they have the facilities with them to carry this study out?
See, we've seen in the past in Sunanda Pushkar's case, they had carried out comprehensive tests, and the reports were, furnished in the court, and they were further sent to the FBI lab for a second opinion.
Right.
So they cannot get away by saying that they don't have the
So they do have it. So they do have all the facilities in place to carry out a viscera sample test. Where is it that they need the mandate from when a request has come from the Chief Minister of Madhya Pradesh, the Health Minister? Why is it that AIIMS has refused to take samples and accept the samples of the viscera of Akshay Singh to conduct that test? Why is it that they have refused, and why that refusal comes 24 hours after the sample was given to them, which is clearly marking the fact that crucial time is being lost, a criminal waste of time here where the viscera samples are concerned. Well, the latest is that the Delhi Chief Minister is visiting Akshay Singh's residence, and to talk us through those visuals, I want to connect to Ankit Tyagi. I believe we have him on the phone line. Ankit, why is it that the Delhi Chief Minister is paying a visit to Akshay's house today? Ankit, are you with me? All right, I don't think we have Ankit. We're going to try and connect to him. But these visuals are of Arvind Kejriwal, who is coming in to pay a visit to Akshay Singh's residence. We're going to get in a word on why the Chief Minister has come to Akshay's residence. But to give perspective, even when the final rites of Akshay Singh were being conducted, Arvind Kejriwal, along with his Deputy CM, Manish Sisodia, as well as Rahul Gandhi and other leaders, had come to pay their last respects on the final rites of Akshay Singh. Well, once again, we see the Delhi Chief Minister coming to Akshay's residence. But all of this happens in the backdrop at a time when Akshay's sister had asked that the viscera sample study of her brother be carried out outside the state of Madhya Pradesh. She had stated that maybe it could have been done at the All India Institute of Medical Science, AIIMS. However, 24 hours after samples were delivered to AIIMS, there is an official confirmation coming in from AIIMS where they say they don't have the mandate to carry out these studies of the viscera sample. To put it in perspective here, there are 2 points we want to put across. Point number one, AIIMS has all the facilities in place to carry out studies of viscera samples. There has been precedent. They have done it in the case of Sunanda Pushkar, where they've carried out extensive studies on the viscera sample of Sunanda Pushkar as well. They have a toxicology department. They could, if they wanted to, which is accept the sample, the viscera sample of Akshay Singh. They've decided not to do so. Point number two. Why was there a 24-hour delay, which is criminal waste of time where the viscera sample is concerned? It hasn't been well preserved. It continues to get diluted, which is a basic understanding we're getting from doctors that we had spoken to. So why is it that it took 24 hours for AIIMS to come up with the official statement that they cannot conduct the study, not because they don't have the facility, but because they don't have the mandate? Who is it that they need the mandate from when even the health minister of the country has asked them to accept the samples? Why this criminal delay in time? Well, these developments taking place as we speak, these visuals, we're going to try and connect to Ankit Tyagi, who's giving us details on why is it that the Chief Minister has once again decided to pay a visit to Akshay's residence. And on the other hand, there's also Akshay Singh, who's speaking to his sources within AIIMS to try and get a plausible explanation. Why is it that AIIMS has refused to accept Akshay's viscera sample? All right. So what we do know is right now that all right, we have Ankit Tyagi, I believe our producers tell us. We have Ankit Tyagi, my colleague, on the phone line. Ankit, you know, we'd seen Mr. Kejriwal, the Chief Minister of Delhi, attend the last rites of Akshay Singh. Why this visit today?
Well, the Chief Minister has gone, of course, to pay his respects also. And apart from that, Akshay Singh, he was a journalist based in Delhi. So the Chief Minister, in fact, has gone, and he was killed when he was, in fact, he passed away when he was on duty. So he's just gone, the Chief Minister and the Deputy Chief Minister, to meet the family and pay their condolences. What we are also hearing from the sources is that the government of Delhi is also thinking about about giving a job to one of the family members of Akshay Singh. That will only be confirmed after there is official confirmation from announcement from the Delhi government. But as of now, the Chief Minister and the Deputy Chief Minister have reached the residence of Akshay Singh, and they are in fact inside and meeting the parents and the sister of the slain journalist.
All right, just stay with me, Ankit. We're going to keep coming back to you for the very latest. So there is a possibility, as Ankit was pointing out, that the Delhi Chief Minister might offer a government job to the next of kin where Akshay is concerned. We don't know that yet. There is not an official confirmation on that. We're going to keep trying and getting the latest on that account. If we still have Arthur with us, maybe he can take us through on what AIIMS is saying right now, because all of this, these visits, all of this happens at the backdrop of very crucial information that is coming in right now, and that is that AIIMS has decided to decline testing the samples, the Viscera samples of Akshay Singh. We're going to keep trying to get more details. My colleague Arthur Khan would be joining us in a short while on that. Meanwhile, the ramifications of the Vyapam probe. A reprobe has now been ordered into one of the most mysterious deaths related to the Vyapam scam. The reopen of Namrata Damur's death comes after India Today accessed the post-mortem report which turned the suicide theory on its head. Namrata's first post-mortem report says that she was smothered to death and that her cause of death was violent asphyxia. Namrata, a student of MGM Medical College Indore, was found near railway tracks at Kaita village in Ujjain on January 7, 2012. A week after, she was reported missing from college hostel. Namrata is on the list of suspects who cleared PMT 2010 using unfair means. Her cell phone records reveal that she received several calls from Vishal Sharma, another suspect in the scam, just minutes before her death. It was this mystery death that India Today correspondent Akshay had set out to solve. It would end up being Akshay's last assignment.
नम्रता डागोर का एक प्रकरण है जो वर्ष 2012 में घटित हुआ था। उस प्रकरण में इन्वेस्टिगेशन हुई है और उस प्रकरण की रिव्यू करने के लिए एसडीपी तराना को मैंने कहा है।
Meanwhile, Namrata's family has alleged foul play in her death even way back in 2012. Here's their latest reaction.
इतना पता चला था, जबलपुर का टिकट करवाया था इसने। अब बीच में क्यों करवाया था इसने टिकट, किस लिए करवाया था, कहाँ जा रही थी, इसका कुछ भी आइडिया नहीं था। तो हम तो गुमशुदगी की रिपोर्ट करवाई थी हम लोगों ने 12 तारीख को, फिर उसको ढूंढ रहे थे इसको, तब उसका पता चला कि लाश मिली इसको। डाउट तो ऐसे ही आ रहा है कि हत्या करके फेंका गया इसको, किसी ने बुलाया और हत्या करके फेंक दिया इसको रास्ते में, वैसे ही लग रहा है बस, इससे ज़्यादा कुछ भी नहीं है।
After India Today's investigations, the Ujjain cops will now be reprobing the Namrata Damur case. But Namrata's case might just be the tip of the iceberg, and several other suspicious deaths will also need to be reprobed. With camera person Kiran Sapkal, Kamlesh Sutar in Jhabua for India Today.